seventh-day Shabbat? Is it governed by the moon or the sun? But what does the scripture say?
The only Sabbath that Scripture supports is the lunar solar Sabbath, and I'm going to prove that with this video and tear down every single point he makes. Let's get into it.
Yahuwah created the week in Genesis chapter 1.
What he's going to try to prove and fail miserably is that the seventh-day planetary week from Rome is the same week of creation. And of course I'm here to prove that false. This guy is being incredibly misleading because he's presupposing that the week that was used in the calendar that Gregory created is the same week that goes all the way back to creation, which is the 7-day planetary week.
Mr. I'ma cook 'em. You got my attention. Let's start by saying 7 days is 7 days, whether it's 7 days of the Gregorian calendar or 7 days of creation. 7 is 7. It don't change.
What you're looking at here is a picture of the old Roman Julian calendar. There was actually originally 8 days in the Roman week. Now this first god, the one that's being pointed at with the arrow, is Saturn. The first day of the week originally was Saturday. What this proves is the idea that Saturday is the Sabbath goes all the way back to creation is pure BS. When held up against actual history, this idea fails.
You brought up a Roman 8-day week. I never mentioned 8 days. You said the first day of the week was originally Saturday, with your only proof being some pagan book nobody knows about. Let's see what the people the scripture said would seek to change times and laws say. Shabbat, a Hebrew word signifying rest. Sunday was a name given by the heathens to the first day of the week because it was the day on which they worshiped the sun. The popular complaint against the Christians, they mean Yasharel, was they despised our sun god. They have divine services on Saturday. It was the Holy Catholic Church that changed the day of rest from Saturday to Sunday, the first day of the week. You might read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, and you will not find a single line authorizing the sanctification of Sunday. The scriptures enforce the religious observance of Saturday. Perhaps the boldest thing, the most revolutionary change the church ever did, happened in the first century. The holy day, the Sabbath, was changed from Saturday to Sunday. Nowhere in the Bible do we find that Christ, their words, or the apostles ordered that the Sabbath be changed from Saturday to Sunday. We have the commandment of God given to Moses to keep holy the Sabbath day. That is the 7th day of the week, Saturday. So your Saturn's day, first day of the week foolishness, is debunked.
He says, show me one verse in the scripture showing that the 7-day Sabbath is determined by the moon. No problem. We'll start in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 2 and 3. Speak to the children of Israel and say, the appointed times of Yahweh, which you are to proclaim as Kodesh gatherings, my appointed times are these. 6 days' work is done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest, a Kodesh gathering. You do no work. It is a Sabbath to Yahweh in all your dwellings. So the Sabbath day is a Moedim, an appointed time, or a feast. The moon is explicitly stated in the scriptures to be for appointed times. The Sabbath day is called an appointed time. So there's the scriptures that say the Sabbath day goes by the moon.
Leviticus 23 and 3 says the 7th day is a Shabbat of rest. The key word being rest, not feast. Verse 4 says, here are the feasts, followed by the actual feast days, starting with Pesach, which is why these days mentioned are actually associated with food. From the moon is the sign of feast. These are the days the moon is a sign for, not the 7th-day Shabbat, the day of rest.
So the word asa doesn't just mean create. It has a number of definitions. Here are some of them: to attend to or put in order, to observe, celebrate, to acquire, to appoint, ordain, institute, bring about, or use, to spend or pass. When Yahweh said, let there be light, then light was created. And this Hebrew word could easily mean he ordained them on the 4th day.
The Hebrew word asa means to do, fashion, accomplish, or to make. He said he made the sun and the moon and the stars on the 4th day. That's the same as make. He didn't say he ordained them. You're full of deception.
Again, how could that be the case if Saturday wasn't even always the first day of the week? And Saturday absolutely is Saturn's day. No matter how much you say people that bring that out are in error, and that is true, every day of our modern pagan week is named after a different pagan god.
I'm not going to address the names of the days of the week because Satan didn't create the days. He just named them after pagan gods. The days don't belong to him. They belong to Yahuwah, not Yahweh, which is a pagan deity.
All right, part 2, let's cook.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Shabbat should be honored from sunset to sunset.
This is about to get hilarious.
In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, you shall eat matzah unleavened until the 1 and 20th day of the month at even.
That's about the high Sabbath for Passover.
It shall be unto you a Shabbat of rest, and you shall afflict your souls. In the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening until evening, shall you celebrate your Shabbat.
That's about Yom Kippur. Neither of these examples are about the 7-day Sabbath. Try again, buddy.
If the Shabbat and the actual day does not start at evening, sunset, I'm going to need you to explain this. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Shabbat, I commanded that the gates be shut and charged that they should not be opened till after the Shabbat. Why did they shut the gates when it began to be dark at sunset? Because that's the beginning of a new day. It matches Genesis 1 perfectly when he says evening and morning was day 1, 2, 3, and so on. Yahuwah says a day is a 24-hour period.
Nope, he doesn't anywhere in the Bible. Messiah says quite literally the opposite, and Yeshua answered, are there not 12 hours in a day? If anyone walks in the day, he does not stumble because he sees the light of this world.
Which includes evening and morning, and not just a period of daylight. So anyone honoring the Shabbat only during the day is in error.
Yep, this is where evening to evening people get it all sorts of messed up. Because it says evening and morning were the first day all the way up to the 7th day. They'll say, look, evening to morning, so it has to be evening to evening. First of all, evening and morning are both part of the day.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Let's read verse 16. And Elohim made 2 great lights, the great light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. The ambiguous word for night is used. That also means dusk, day, evening. Why wasn't the unambiguous Hebrew word layu used for the night used in the evening and morning verses? It's very simple. Because evening and morning are both part of the day. Which is why Yeshua says, are there not 12 hours in a day?
Any person with sense knows that the day is a 12-hour period, while a day is a 24-hour period. I guess you don't possess that quality. Why didn't you use the Hebrew word for evening, which is ereb, which literally means sunset and night? So the evening, which is night, and the morning, which is day, is a 24-hour period called a day. It says that Saturday is not the Shabbat. Here's a list of names that other countries use for Saturday.
How many of these languages, which the speakers of these languages, would you identify as the quote-unquote enemies of Israel? So how ridiculous is making that point? The thing you read mentioned Spain. Here's a picture of some Spanish people. Didn't you already say that non-Israelites can't teach Israel, but you're relying on what they say?
Your argument for this is foolishness because the scriptures tell us that Yasharel was scattered to the 4 corners of the earth. They were and still are scattered around the world. A quick Google search would have shown you Negroes, also known as Yasharel, were in Spain from the years 711 to 1492. Black people in Spain, known as Afro-Spaniards, have a deep history dating back centuries. Try again, buddy. So I'm going to break this down where even a child can understand, but still may be hard for you. Enoch's calendar tells us each month is 30 days, with the 3rd month of each season having 31 days. Those 4 days are for equinoxes and solstice, giving us a total of 364 days. 364 days divided by a 7-day week gives us 52 perfect weeks with no extra days. This means that the Shabbat will fall on the same day every week of the year as well as every year. Acknowledging the 7-day Shabbat by the moon changes the day the Shabbat falls on every month, which is now no longer 7 days as it changes from month to month. The lunar 7-day Shabbat, debunked.
This guy said he was going to respond to me, and when that happens, I'm going to cook him then too.
Who are you talking to? Because 10 hours later, you only got one like. You couldn't cook if you had the recipe. We don't do unseasoned food over here.
This is how we do it. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They